The second preaching tour in Galilee. The second public preaching tour in Galilee began on Sunday, October 3rd, 28 AD, and it lasted almost 3 months. This enterprise also involved the 117 newly trained evangelists. The followers of Jesus split into 10 groups, and during these 3 months, they reached practically all the towns and villages in Galilee. James Zebedee gave the 117 evangelists instructions on what was expected of them. When James had finished what he had to say, Jesus gave a final encouragement. He said to the evangelists, "Go out and do the work as you have been instructed, and later, when you have shown yourselves to be capable and faithful, I will confirm you as preachers of the kingdom." All the apostles took 12 evangelists with them, except for James and John, who stayed with Jesus. Under the guidance of an experienced apostle, these new evangelists began to make personal contacts with people and preach to them the good news of the kingdom. If people were interested in the kingdom and were open to embracing God as a heavenly Father, they were baptized by the apostles. Jesus, James, and John covered great distances during these 3 months, often visiting 2 places in one day to observe the work of the evangelists and to encourage them in their efforts to establish the kingdom. This second preaching tour had the side effect of giving the 117 newly trained evangelists practical experience. Zebedee's house was used as a coordination center for the kingdom. The practically minded David Zebedee took charge. He managed couriers who connected the separate groups and maintained contact with John the Baptist's apostles in Jerusalem. He also began to establish contacts with other places in Palestine where the gospel had taken root. David did all this on his own initiative, but with Andrew's approval. David had 40 to 50 couriers working in this intelligence service for the rapidly expanding work of the kingdom, and he would continue this coordinating work until the resurrection. By the time the camp in Bethsaida was broken up, Jesus' fame, especially as a healer, had spread to all parts of Palestine, throughout Syria, and to the surrounding countries. For weeks after they left Bethsaida, the sick continued to arrive, and when they did not find Jesus there, but learned where he was, they sought him out. On this tour, Jesus did not perform any intentional healing miracles. Nevertheless, dozens of suffering people regained their health due to the restorative power of the intense faith that drove them to seek healing. Around the time of this preaching tour, a series of peculiar, inexplicable healing events began to occur, and this continued throughout the rest of Jesus' life on earth. During this 3-month tour, more than 100 people experienced the beneficial effects of this unconscious healing by Jesus, and when they returned to their homes, they contributed to the growth of myths about Jesus. And they acted against what Jesus had instructed them. For every time Jesus observed one of these cases of spontaneous healing, he forbade the person who had received this benefit from telling anyone. We do not know exactly what happened in these cases of unconscious healing. Jesus never explained it to his apostles, except that on several occasions he simply said, "I perceive that power has gone out from me." On one occasion, when he was touched by a sick child, he said, "I perceive that life has gone out from me." We suspect that many of these healing miracles, which appeared automatic to the eye, were the result of the simultaneous convergence of the following 3 powerful, interrelated influences. 1. The presence of a strong, predominant, and living faith in the heart of the person persistently seeking healing, combined with the desire for healing more for spiritual benefit than for mere physical recovery. 2. When Jesus perceived such human faith trust in his presence, a great sympathy and compassion arose in his mercy-dominated personality. Jesus possessed almost unlimited and timeless creative healing powers. 3. Along with the faith of the creature and the life of the Creator, you must also consider that this God-man was the incarnate expression of the will of the Heavenly Father. If, in the contact between human need, where the divine power meted, and the Father willed it, then the two became one, and healing occurred. This could happen without the human Jesus being consciously aware of it, but it was immediately recognized by his divine nature. The explanation for many of these healings must be found in a great law known to us for a long time, namely, what the Creator's Son desires and the Eternal Father wills happens. We therefore state here the fact that Jesus often allowed people in his presence to heal themselves through their own strong personal faith. Many others sought healing for entirely selfish purposes. There was a wealthy widow from Tyre who followed Jesus with her entourage for a long time, seeking healing for her many physical ailments. Whenever she saw Jesus, she offered him more money, as if the power of God could be bought by the highest bidder. But she never showed any interest in the gospel of the kingdom. It was the healing of her physical ailments that she sought.